Welcome to If Then Friday. I think it's episode 120. I'm not exactly sure. Don't hold me to it. I have to check later. But it's If Then Friday. If you like this author, then you might like the author. And welcome to the D. Louise Book Series. I'm Christina Tina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, no fancy smashy stuff going on here. And this is a little late. I got so carried away with some of the other themes that I'm following this summer. I meant to do this the first week in June and just completely sideswiped. I got carried away with other stuff. So, we are doing it the last week in June, unfortunately. But, although, by this point, all these books have been released. So, you'll be able to run out to your store or Amazon and pick them all up. And I went through the list of books. And there wasn't too many. I went through them. I even looked quite a few of them up, and there wasn't really much. So I ended up with 10 out of like 200 plus books coming out this month. I ended up with 10. So here are your 10 top 10, whatever you want to call it, 10 June new releases that I am sort of kind of looking forward to, that I recognize, that I would read, that I would have an interest in. Out of all those books, I was really surprised that the list was so I couldn't. There was like I was looking this one up. I didn't know this author. I was looking them all up, see, reading the stuff, the summaries and stuff. And I was like, well, that sounds interesting. Then open it up. I was like, oh. There was this book on time traveling. I don't even remember what it was. Sorry. Hand to God, I should have wrote it down. And it wasn't about time travel. I mean, the main let me rephrase that. The secondary character time traveled. All right. You know what? I will look this book up and I will put the picture up here later. And I will tell you what's wrong with this book. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Okay, I should have planned this better. But it's supposed to be about time travel. And it's more about relationship angst. And that's why I wasn't going to recommend it, because I have this thing. You can say it's just good, it's just bad, it's just horrible, it's just boring. You can fill that sentence in any way you want. It's just. And this book is just. It's called The Traveler. It's by Joseph Eckert. It's a day like any other when Scott Trader jumps forward through time. One moment he's on his way to work, fingers drumming, steering the wheel. The next, he's tumbling headlong down the road, his car gone, a dozen panicked voicemails from his wife on his cell. At 7:15 a.m. Monday, April 13th, a blink of an eye. 7:15 Tuesday, April 14th. An entire 24 hours gone. This moment, the first spontaneous slip, marks a change in the course not only of Scott's future but that of his world. From this point on, at precisely 7:52 a.m. every morning, Scott implacably travels forward in time, ever doubling his intervals. One day lost in a blink, then two, then four, then weeks, then even years, as passing him by in an instant. Meanwhile, his wife is left alone to pick up the pieces of the life they once shared, and before long, Lyle Scott's genius 7-year-old son will surpass him in age. So it's not that very interesting. So that's why I wasn't going to recommend it and talk about it, because then I guess I'm kind of talking about it now, but there was no time travel going to different periods in the world, going to the Civil War, witnessing events there, or going to the American Revolution, witnessing events there, or going to the 1800s and witnessing events there. It just sounds like he's just constantly time travel change. So maybe he spends 1 or 2 minutes in this. It had nothing to it. So what was it going to be? The son's angst or the wife's angst? The whole book? So what was the point? So anyways, let's get to the real 10 here, shall we? Oh, and there she is. There's the co-host. Just to let you know. Alright. Let's see if we can do this. Scandal of Summer. Alexandra Vasti, eccentric heiress Lady Ruby Balmore has had enough of the marriage knot. After offending yet another very important marquise, imperiling her father's diplomatic career, Ruby flees London for the holiday house of glamorous and better yet absent princess, armed with a forged invitation and accompanied by her like-minded friends. Ruby arrives at the Cornwall estate, expecting a summer of blissful freedom. Instead, she discovers a mansion in desperate need of repair, and a former privateer and current con artist, Captain Malcolm Archer, has dragged his ramshackle crew into a new life. Posing as staff at the princess's abandoned estate provides the perfect cover for Archer's smuggling scheme, not to mention free rent. Everything's going according to plan until an unorthodox London heiress crashes the party. I'm guessing we fall in love. Who owns the estate? Will she buy it and will they live out there? Will they fix it up? Questions to ponder. Another series. We should do this series on this channel. I've got so many books this week, it's unbelievable. A Bitter Cut. 1783. Lady Darby and her dashing husband Sebastian Gage are setting into their newly renovated home at Bevington Park in Warwickshire with their young daughter. With the breach between them and Sebastian's father recently healed, they've agreed to help host a country house party for friends and family to share in their joy. Kara is also anxious to help promote a match between her brother Trevor and the woman he's fallen in love with, inviting her family to join them. However, Kira swiftly discovers that the would-be bride's family is not without their distractions. Her brother is unpleasant, her mother is abrasive, and her father is prosperous industrialist. Jeremiah Bram is brisk, discourteous, and downright rude. So when Burnham's secretary is found murdered with Burnham standing over the body, many are content to allow him to take the blame. But neither Kira nor Sebastian believes he did it, and in spite of his bluster and boorish behavior, they can't let an innocent man fall for the crime. So they gotta solve it, save the guy. Will he be grateful to accept their assistance? Or will he be ungrateful to accept their assistance? Read the book. Alright. Oh, I wanted to check this. So, I got on this tangent of, and you'll see it in the next couple weeks on Fridays, on If Then Fridays. I got into this tangent of, it's the summertime. Last year, I did Cozy Mysteries Up the Yin Yang. If you haven't seen those, please go check those out. I'm trying to find a few new ones to do this year. But I really went bonkers with Cozy Mysteries knitting, Cozy Mysteries cooking, a whole bunch of Cozy Mysteries, Patriot 4th of July Cozy Mysteries, patriotic Cozy Mysteries, whole 9 yards. So this year, I thought it was summer vacation and I would go with vacationing. And I've got all these different videos coming up on Murders in a Hotel. Matt Haig just put out a new one. We're going to talk about that. And I was thinking of going through Agatha Christie of Murder on the Orient Express. I was thinking about doing those. So in the genre of that, I picked up this book. I'm trying to figure out where it's going to go. Taurus season. Chrissy, put the new picture up. Harvest season. I saw this book, and I'm like, this looks familiar. This looks really familiar to me. This is the previous book. It's like, dang, that looks a lot like this. The covers reminded me of this. So this one says, Cape Carnage is a seaside town of colorful houses, quirky shops, and an unusually high body count. With tourists comes trouble, and Harper Stalling won't let anyone ruin her picture-perfect home. A skilled gardener with killer instincts, Harper protects her sanctuary and her aging mentor with a fading memory at any cost. Troublesome tourists don't check out a Carnage, they compost beneath Harper's award-winning flower beds. But Nolan Rhodes isn't your average tourist. Devilishly handsome, disarmingly charming, and skilled with a blade, Nolan is relentless in the pursuit of revenge. On every anniversary of the hit-and-run accident that fractured his life, Nolan slays another target, and he saved the best for last, the undeniable, beautifully Harper Stalling. The problem, Harper isn't the monster he expected, and she won't go down without a fight. When an amateur true crime investigator comes to Cape Carnage on the trail of a long-lost serial killer, Harper and Nolan strike an uneasy truce to solve the mystery. So you will see this book again at least one more time, if not twice, but at least one more time in If Then Vacation. So that led me to Harvest Season, which is this year's book. Put it here, Chrissy. Put it here. Cape Carnage is blooming with secrets and they're ready to harvest, but every time Nolan Rhodes digs up one, another grows in its place. Harper isn't who we thought she was. Arthur might be more sinister than he thought, and Sheriff Yates, the man is everywhere he turns. When true crime fanatics descend on the town looking for answers about the death of their leader, Nolan finds himself at the center of a search and rescue operation for missing people he knows are already dead. Cape Carnage teeters on the brink of chaos, and the harder Nolan tries to keep it together, the closer Harper comes to unraveling. These books, they take place in the same place, so it's probably a continuing series. So I would say this is book 2 in the series. I would say that tourist season starts the series. That's just my guess. I could be wrong. I keep picking these books up and picking these books up. I have these books, they're all over the house. I have different editions of these books. But I keep deciding these mysteries sound good, I want to read it. And then I remember the guy's a game warden. See, that's a big no. I don't want anybody killing animals. I don't even want my hero killing animals. I don't want to read about killing animals. That's the one big issue I have against this series. Otherwise, it's a good series, and I really want to read it. But I can't get past my own wall of, he's a game warden. I don't want anybody killing animals. I do not want anybody killing animals. Stormtide. Mike Bowdish. Paul Dorian. When the magnificent home of entrepreneur Brian Malley mysteriously goes up in flames, Maine game warden Mike Bowdish tries to pull Malloy's burning body from the fire, but it's too late. Malloy was suspected of murdering his young, illegitimate son. Now it looks like someone else has delivered a verdict. Miles away on a lonely stretch of icy railroad track, the body of Axel Deming, once accused of a brutal rape, is found beautifully cut in half. The two murders seem unrelated. A cryptic text from an unknown number draws Bowdish to the scene and hints at a chilling connection. He suspects someone is orchestrating the execution of criminals who escape justice, and for reasons he can't explain, his own name is on the list, but the state police aren't convinced. His search for the truth takes him through some frozen harbors, trackless forests, and remote islands far from rescue. Meanwhile, Bowdish is facing a disciplinary hearing that could end his career. His wife, Stacy, just weeks from giving birth, is stalked by a stranger in a white van, and he realizes that someone is watching him. He's a game warden. I just can't get past that. It's just me. I just can't get past it. Brandon Sanderson has been around a really, really long time. Really. If you watch Flashback Monday, we talked about this guy all the time. So, when Jack Solomon, a struggling musician who works in London's West End, is killed, he awakens to a new reality in which light and music are used to create magic, where living errors of the past sprawl beneath modern London, layer upon layer, all the way back to recorded history. Jack also soon discovers that many of those who reside in the stratums of London's past have grown angry with the present world, and that their anger is being channeled by a powerful society of light and music-based magic wielders who who can cross the realms between life and death, between the present and the past, a past where the dead are sowing revolution against the living, and all history is at stake. Hmm. Oh, and you are gonna see this book again. You are definitely, actually, technically, I should have done this book last week. I'm sorry I didn't see it last week. Because last week or the week before was road trip. Let's go on a road trip. If I could go back and put this on the end of that video, I would. This goes with the video a couple of weeks ago. So add this to the road trip video. Mary Kay Andrews, road trip. It fits. Maeve and Therese Dunnan are sisters, but the two have been estranged for years. They could not be more, Maeve a rule follower and Therese a rebel. But when their mother's death brings the family back together, the two find that they've inherited a painting, one that could be worth millions and could save each of them from their respective wolves at the door. The only issue is the painting might be fake, and the only way they can resolve the problem is to find the original. This means a road trip to Ireland, to their family roots, to a mysterious crime that occurred years ago. With tension simmering, the two hit the road and find themselves in twisty lanes and colorful villages at local pubs with handsome men whose gift of the gab is surpassed only by their charm. Can Maeve and Therese find the real painting, remove a family curse, solve a cold case, and actually survive without killing each other? Road trip! Seriously, I should have had this a couple weeks ago. If I had known. If I had done June new releases when I wanted to do June new releases, I might have known about this book a little sooner. But anyways, Death on the Lanai. Chrissy put the book up. And this is a Golden Girls situation, and I'm like, did she get copyright permission to use these people in her book? Because the characters, not only does she use the name Golden Girls, but she uses their images on the book. Book, Chrissy. When the girls accept a very strange invitation to a lavish party on a remote island estate, they find that murder has a way of ruining even the most glamorous of evenings. The invite delivered to 6151 Richmond Street was short on details, only promising to celebrate the greatest artist of the century and accompanied by a jeweled-encrusted brooch. The whole package a brand of mysterious opulence that another Saturday night of gin rummy can't match. Blanche Devereaux's passionate dalliance as plentiful as hot southern girls, and surely one can't be expected to remember all of one's suitors. But when the girls disembark the party's ferry at small Biscayne Bay Island and meet their secretive host, the memories come flooding. She's a Radio City rocket cat in her 20s. He, the poor artist who could offer her nothing but his love. Fate drove them apart, but Declan, now a famous El Toro, professes that Blanche has always been his muse. Aww. Not the love of his life, his muse. There's a difference there. Featured prominently in his artworks and central to Latour's return to the apex of the art world, Blanche is thrilled to have been an inspiring figure to this man. But looking around at the party filled with those who have made the living of the artist's fame, his assistant, his art dealer, his greatest critic, and more, Dorothy isn't so sure they're welcome to the island after all. When a tropical storm knocks out power across the island, an optimistic Blanche proclaims that everyone looks better by candlelight anyway. But when Duncan is found dead the next morning, all eyes are on her. What's up? I I'm slowly gathering the books for this series. I think I have the first 3 or 4. We will be doing this series. Whose body is in the library? Whose body's in the library? Don't know. Let's look. While Lucy is enjoying her new job as the mother of twin boys and library director, new librarian Nichelle Gilchrist has just arrived at Body Island Lighthouse Library, reporting for duty. But life throws a wrench on Nicole's first day when she finds a body on the steps, a body that bears a striking resemblance to her father, who disappeared on a fishing trip to the Outer Banks 38 years ago. Fingerprints confirm the dead body is indeed Nichelle's father, now living in Nag's Head under the name Brian Saunders. Brian had befriended an older, lonely woman in exchange for money, but was he working alone? Detective Rhonda Thomas is on the case, and the suspect list is only getting longer. Sorting through the wrong woman and their relatives, Detective Thomas discovers Nichelle's own brother, Brad, had been in Nag's Head just a few days ago. What did he know? Hoping to clear her brother's name, Nichelle decides to investigate what happened. With seasoned sleuth Ruthie Gentile's encouragement for the amateur Nichelle is an exciting and dangerous first week at the library. A lady we've talked about quite often on this channel. In fact, her books are right here, 5 or 6 of them. More than that, actually. But anyways, this cover looks like the other one. Alright, let's put them up. Grizzy, put the picture up. Put the picture up. We'll have to see, because my computer ink isn't very good. So, Chrissy, put the picture up. Let's compare the 2 pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So this one says, see how they hide. And this is last year's book, 2025. So, 2 people were murdered at the exact same time in the exact same gruesome manner. Bodies discovered in the same red poppies but on opposite sides of the county. With Detective Kara Quinn investigating in Oregon and Special Agent Matt Costa in Virginia, the mobile response team digs deep to uncover more about each victim. What is the link between the 2 and why were they targeted? Yet their search unearths more questions than answers until they meet Riley Pierce, the only person still alive who might be able to help them find the killers. Soon it becomes clear this case is nothing like they've seen before as the investigation leads them to hallowed ground of Havenwood, and an eerily beautiful place rooted in terrifying past. Whisper Creek. After the sudden death of her husband, Ellen McKenna is doing everything she can to keep her Texas farm afloat. She and her family hope to expand their operation, but times are tough, and making ends meet is more expensive than she imagined, much less trying to grow. Many of their neighbors in Cook County have thrown in the towel and agreed to sell their farms to a local businessman. Despite similar pressure, Ellen refuses to let her dreams die. Or the top of unusual hardships, a series of recent storms have left the region partly flooded, and as the heavy rain begins again one morning, all of the members of the McKinney family jump into action to protect their land and their animals. Ellen's oldest son discovers an injured dog, and the dog leads him to a man barely clinging to life, the apparent victim of a brutal home invasion. Then Ellen's younger kids go to check on a nearby neighbor and walk into a threat none of them saw coming. What is it? I guess we gotta read the book. And this next book is a ghostwriter, but not a ghostwriter. The author has passed away a couple years ago. And Mr. Battles, we are grateful to Mr. Battles for continuing the series. We will eventually get to Stone, I've been collecting Stone. I had Stone. I read the first 13 or 14 of them. I will go back and reread them for this channel. But I got pissed off at Stone Barrington because in this book he was on a plane, had an engagement ring in his pocket, and he was on his way to, I don't know why they just didn't do it in town, why they had to go to a tropical island. But he was on his plane, and his girlfriend missed the plane, by the way. So that was another thing. He was on a plane going to a tropical island, and he's on the plane, and his girlfriend calls him and goes, "Look, not only am I not gonna make it, but I'm going to elope with XYZ." Now, he was on the plane. He was on the plane, and he had the ring in his pocket. He was gonna marry this chick. So tell me, how much? And when we do the series and when we do the book, I would probably go off on this particular book, something crazy, when we get to it. But and I guess I'm spoiling it for my future self, future whatever. But he gets off the plane in the island, he gets embroiled in another situation, and within 2-3 hours, he's in bed with a 100% complete stranger. That's what bothered me. At least with a female character, there would at least be a get to know, how you doing, spend a couple days, be a friendship kind of thing. Only a guy book would jump in bed just instantly with no. So, anyways, our final book is Stuart Wood's Deep Water. Stone Barrington, 67. My Eve Dallas is up to 63 or 4. Deep Water. When Stone Barrington meets one of his clients, Trent Sidney, for a sunset drink on Trenton's new yacht, the last thing he expects is to be a victim of a shipwreck. As one of the 4 survivors of the incident, but with little memory of the sinking, Stone finds himself diving straight back into work. His first task to reach out to the beneficiaries in Trenton's will. But when the evidence that points to foul play comes to light, Stone must probe the tragedy in more ways than one in order to uncover the identity of the perpetrator before they find another lethal way to get themselves out of deep water. So what do you think of June new releases? Is there anything out there that strikes you, that jumps out at you, that you might consider reading? Like I said, it wasn't a very good month. I had a list of over 300 books, and I got rid of all the nonfiction ones because I wasn't really interested in those, and I kept whittling it down. I'm not a horror person unless I'm doing a horror video. Got rid of those, kept whittling it down, and these were the 10 that I whittled it down to. I usually like to do 20 or 25, but that was just 10. That's what I got to. And, of course, my 2 complaint books. So, anyways, that was unexpected. I do plan these things. There's no editing here. What you see is what you get. Remember Roots Web? I had a Roots Web. I had a website a long time ago. And when if I had done things differently, it might have made a few dollars, but I never did that. But when I first made my website, I was seriously, absolutely hand to God getting 10,000 views a day. Seriously, hand to God. Then Ancestry and Family Search came along, and my website got 0 views for like over 10 years. 0. Literally 0 for over 10 years. So I cut it off, turned it off. I was like, screw it. I'm shelling out $300 a year, and I'm not even paying attention to it anymore. I was doing other things. I was transcribing books, but so it went the way of the wayside. So anyways, Check out my JD Rub, of course, every single Saturday. We're spoiling the characters. In Death, D. Louise book series. There's your search engine. The first group should be the reviews, the actual plot reviews, and the second ones are character spoilerizations. We're sitting down and we're enjoying my Eve Dallas and her characters and their conversations between each other. Don't forget unboxing on Sundays and Flashback Mondays. I could use some suggestions. Leave it on the Flashback Monday page. My Star Trek Next Generation, Star Trek Voyager recaps on Fridays. If Then Friday. If you like this book, you might like that book. And of course, my daily book reviews. Have a good one.